Greetings and salutations. My name's Ollie, and here's your loaf of daily bread. Today's loaf of bread comes to us by way of Khalil Gibran, and he says the following. Your soul is oftentimes a battlefield upon which your reason and your judgment wage war against your passion and your appetite. Would that I could be the peacemaker in your soul, that I might turn the discord and the rivalry of your elements into oneness and melody. But how shall I, unless you yourselves be also the peacemakers, nay, the lovers of all your elements? Your reason and your passion are the rudder and the sails of your seafaring soul. For reason, ruling alone, is a force confining, and passion, unattended, is a flame that burns to its own destruction. Therefore let your soul exalt your reason to the height of passion, that it may sing. And let it direct your passion with reason, that your passion may live through its own daily resurrection, and like the phoenix rise above its own ashes. Among the hills, when you sit in the cool shade of the white poplars, sharing the peace and serenity of distant fields and meadows, then let your heart say in silence, God rest in reason. And when the storm comes and the mighty wind shakes the forest, and thunder and lightning proclaim the majesty of the sky, then let your heart say in awe, God moves in passion. And since you are a breath in God's sphere and a leaf in God's forest, you too should rest in reason and move in passion. As you may have noticed, I tend to develop themes in these videos. I don't do it deliberately, but when I look back, I realize that over a week or 2 weeks or a month even sometimes, all of my videos will have a similar topic or a similar theme. The quote that I just read to you from Khalil Gibran's Prophet falls in line with other quotes I've shared with you recently, like the one from Rumi about the animal part inside of us, like the one from Alan Watts where he talks about the feeling or the experience of having two selves in one body. Here again, Gibran is hitting on that same theme or that same topic, the disparity of our parts, the fragmented nature of the human psyche and personality, and these two forces that are constantly at war with each other within the soul, what he calls reason and passion. Now, there are so many different metaphors out there and so many different ways that we can slice and dice and model the human psyche and all of its elements. You can divide it into reason and passion. You can divide it into logic and emotion. You can divide it into desire and craving, aka the animal nature, and the higher human nature that looks at the big picture and is empathetic and compassionate, puts the needs of others before its own needs. All of these different metaphors and models have merits. My suggestion to you is that you don't get attached to any one model too tightly. The usefulness of the model is the information it provides, the insights we draw from it. And here in this quote, Gibran gives us loads of insights. If you've ever read The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, you know that the entire book is like this, full of beautiful imagery, full of wisdom. But for me, this particular section stands out, even in a book full of profound passages. I think it describes very accurately some of the struggles that we go through on a daily basis. What reason tells us and what our gut tells us, these things are often at odds. And we tend to find ourselves in the middle, kind of being pulled in different directions. Now, what the prophet is telling the people of Orphalese in this passage is that he wishes he could be the peacemaker in their soul, that he can reconcile these two seemingly opposing forces. And then he goes on to tell us that these forces are not at all opposing, that they are in fact the sail and the rudder of the seafaring soul, as he says it. And you need both, because reason by itself confines, and passion by itself burns to its own destruction. So you have to use reason to guide the passion, and you have to use passion to ignite the reason and expand it so that it can see more and make sense of the bigger picture. Now, of course, at the end of this section, Gibran gets a little bit spiritual and mystical when he starts to talk about God. And he says that God rests in reason and moves in passion. And since we are a breath in the sphere of God and a leaf in the forest of God, we too should rest in reason and move in passion. That is, when we are thinking, we should do so when we are calm, when passion is not present. That's when reason works best. And when we're ready to move, when we've already reasoned everything out and we've determined the best course of action, we should move with passion. The idea is that these are tools and we should use them appropriately. You don't use a hammer to drive a screw into a wall. You use a screwdriver. So when you're faced with a screw, you get the screwdriver. When you have a nail, you get the hammer. Similarly, when you are analyzing things and trying to get a sense of what things are, you should do so with reason and in a state of rest. And then when we're ready to act, we should do so with passion, because that's the fuel that drives us. That's the energy that moves us. But the most important thing I believe in this passage is that reason without passion and passion without reason are inherently flawed, and they will not bring us what we want, and they will not lead us to the place we wish to go. Beautiful words from Khalil Gibran. Rest in reason and move in passion, my friends. And of course, don't forget to live well.